Alright guys, in today's video I've got Darrell back on the channel. There was a lot of questions and curiosity about his $600 a month expenses living out in the province and being the only foreigner there. So we're gonna get a little more in depth on some of those questions. Stick around. All right, Darrell, thanks for coming back on. I appreciate it. Our video was pretty popular. I think got like 20,000 views in just 4 days or so, 4 or 5 days. And so there was a lot of questions really about your $600 a month expenses. Now, I do think there were some people who misunderstood the difference between you spend $600 a month in expenses versus how much money you bring in, and that's personal. But yeah,
and I really don't mind. You can look it up. It's average Social Security.
Right.
If you look that up, you're going to be within $50 of how much I get. But I make several times the 600. The 600 is what we did to try to save money in building the little house. I built it cash out of pocket, and that kind of thing. So when I added like the patio or something else, we waited until the first of the month when I got paid again. We did the patio. The patio, for those who are concerned about the costs, especially concrete, my patio is 12 feet by 24 by 4 inches thick, and there's a few pieces of number 4 or 5 rebar in there. 7,000 labor.
Okay.
10 bags of Portland cement, or the equivalent here, and about 1,500 or 1,500 pesos for enough sand. It's a small dump truck. And the labor goes, the head guy, superintendent guy, he gets 1,000 a day. That's $20. The next guy gets 600 a day. That's like 12. And the just entry level laborer, he gets about 500, or actually 450. So that's like $9 or $10 an hour. So at 7,000, the laborer was only there for 2 days, helping mix cement.
Okay.
But they finished the whole thing in like 4 days. So they're well within their $20 a day for one guy, 12 for another, and the whole thing was around 2 1/4. That's for a 12 by 24 by 4 inch with rebar concrete patio. So it's just an example.
How long did it take you to build the house, to complete it?
If I had built it all cash at once, it would have taken maybe a month and a half, 2 months.
Okay.
And a lot of that really had to do with the fact that I would have to wait for the guys that I want to do the work, because they finish it more the way it needed to be finished. And I had to wait on them because they would have their jobs and come back. The other side is I was building it out of my Social Security only. And so I might put 30 or 40,000, 50,000 a month pesos into that, which could be $1,000 or 800 or whatever. So when we're figuring out the budget, we're trying to figure out, okay, what do we need to set aside to live through the month, and still, how long can we hire these guys, and how much money can we put in before we don't want to run out of money for them or for us. So that's where the budget actually came from. But the 600 is all the food you could possibly eat. I mean, pork, chicken, everything. I live on $10 a day very well. All the food I can eat. And a kilo of pork is $6 a kilo, or chicken is like $4 for a kilo. Broccoli, 80 pesos for a kilo. It's like $1.50 for a kilo. These are 2 1/4 pounds. It's not like where we go buy something. And the thing about this food is that it's ripened on the ground, because a lot of it's farmed locally, and so it ripens on the vine as opposed to in a warehouse. So the food you get actually tastes a little better, especially the bananas. Because when they pick them off the tree, they're going to be yellow within a day or two, as opposed to getting shipped from the Southeast Asia to America, and then ripening on the way there. So they're much sweeter here. As a result, tomatoes, all that kind of stuff, you notice a difference.
And like eggs, for example, their eggs are outside. They don't have them refrigerated because they don't wash them and bleach them white. Americans, they want them pretty white and looking, nice. But here, the protective coating is still left on it, so they're safe to be unrefrigerated.
It's like anything canned.
Yeah.
The milk also, if you see milk, it comes in a little carton, and it sits on the shelf out there with the bread. And when you stop and think about it, well, you know, it's pasteurized and goes into the carton like anything can, or like orange juice or anything else that's on the shelf.
Right. Exactly.
So that was a big surprise. And the eggs for large eggs, run about 20 cents each. Extra large might be, you know, 25 cents each. And I mean, when I say extra large, they're huge. They're really big.
Yeah, we buy a whole tray, and I can't even remember how many.
300 pesos, and there's 30 in a tray.
Yeah, actually, we pay $2.65 for a whole tray.
Do you get extra large or large?
Jumbo, the largest there is here. So yeah, we have one vendor that we use all the time, and that's their price.
So your eggs were probably laid the day before you buy them. Where in the States, you know, it's a week later or 4 or 5 days later. Yeah,
they've gone through the whole the washing and colored white or whatever they do, and so yeah, they're much fresher here. So $600, you got your electric, you got fiber optic.
Fiber optic's around $50.
$50. Water.
Yeah, and then the water's free because it comes on a well. I pay for the electricity. And the electricity is about $140 a month. But I have 2 air conditioners running 24/7.
The split type
or the expensive type? The window type.
Oh, the window type. Okay. And so we'll flash up some photos of the house that you're living in. But again, the $600 in expenses, but that's not necessarily what you really live on sometimes because you do a lot of traveling. So, but that goes outside of the...
I travel 50% of the time at least.
Right.
So I live on a much bigger budget, but if you're coming here and you've only got $1,000, I mean, you should be able to live fairly well as far as eating, and you don't need fiber optic. I do. And you don't need to run the air conditioning 24/7, and I do. So that's all included in that $600.
So if you're okay with staying at home much more and maybe just staying in the area, not traveling as extensively, you can certainly live.
You can live in. I go to the market. I'll go out. I'll walk about a quarter mile out, and then I hop on a jeepney. Climb inside the jeepney. It costs me 12 pesos or 25 cents to get to the public market, which is probably 3 or 4 kilometers away.
Right.
I go to the gym. It costs me 40 pesos a day or 80 cents, and I walk down the public market and I buy my food. And I usually buy 1 or 2 days at a time. And then I get back in the jeepney, and it costs me, you know, the same home, and then I walk. So my transportation budget is less than what it would be for gas.
Right.
I get my food less. I go to the gym, and I'm back home by 10 o'clock, let's say. So the heat of the day is more hits after that. So I'm comfortable. I do my videos, I watch TV, I do whatever I want to do. If I want to go out, I go out. If I'm going to go to the mall, these huge malls, 1.5 million square feet, like SM Clark, is air conditioned. It's the most beautiful mall you'll ever see.
Yeah, it's a nice mall. So, do you see yourself staying there permanently? Is that do you ever?
Porac?
Yeah.
Porac, I'm going to be there for a while. That's where all my friends are. All my friends are Filipinos. I'm the only
foreigner in that
there,
area.
unless it's Asian foreigners. I just don't see them. So I'm pretty happy there. I have a lot of really, really nice friends. And, but again, I'm only going to be there maybe a week, a month, and then I'll be in Baguio probably about another week, and the rest of the time I travel.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll tell you why. I've rented an apartment. I've got pictures of it. We'll put it up because it's going to be hard to imagine. I rented a 2-bedroom apartment there for $72 a month for 4,000 pesos. And I mean, 4,000 pesos, $72 a month. You're going to have to see the pictures to see it's definitely livable.
Sure.
The place I'm living at now, it's got the wallpaper, the nice floors and all that, but that belonged to my ex, and so I'm moving out, and the place I'm moving into is a great price. So I do plan to be there centered.
I think a lot of people, when they move out here, a lot of them, why they can't live on such a little amount is they really just don't want to totally let go of all their Western type lifestyle. They still want to have a good steak once in a while. They still want to live in a condo maybe with a pool, and so if you still want to kind of have like a Western lifestyle, or maybe 50% of the time, $600 a month is probably not going to cut it.
But you could live the good life in Dumaguete or Baguio on what I make. You could have the condo. You could have all those things. You could buy a motorcycle. You could do all of these things.
Sure.
It's just that in the province where I went, because I was in a relationship that took me there, I chose not to. And now when I go look, I travel more, and I have my home base. It's relatively inexpensive. And when I go someplace like in Dumaguete, I'm paying $1,000 a day. It's $20 a day.
Yeah.
And I'm staying in a really nice hotel. And electric elevators. There's no chip paint, nothing like that. And I mean, where else can you do that? Can't do it in America.
No. Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia, some places, but
where
definitely not in the West.
Where everybody speaks English.
Yeah.
And I've got nothing. And I know a lot of people love Vietnam, Thailand, all those places, Malaysia. But I chose here, aside from the relationship, because so many people speak English. So even in the country, there's people I can get by with people speak English.
That's the thing that I think really attracts people to the Philippines. That and age gap relationships are very open to that. There's no issue for a lot of people, and the English, of course, is a factor. Yeah, absolutely. You came out here. I came out here in the same mindset, but up until this point in my life, I've always been a minimalist. I've always been able to pack everything on my motorbike and be able to drive off to the next destination to go live. And you came out here kind of the same way, right, as a minimalist?
Yeah, but there's a caveat to that. I had $50,000 or $60,000 worth of furniture and another $20,000 worth of artwork in storage.
Wow.
For 9 years, paying $250 a month, and couldn't get rid of half of it. I had a gimbal desk. It probably cost me like $6,000, and I had a Baker couch. Those run, $7,000 or $8,000.
Yeah.
And a Henderson couch. Those run about $3,500, and so on and so on. Anyway, by the time I got here, I just wanted to go someplace peaceful. I've been so stressed from so many things, so many different directions, and it was so disappointing, so hard to let go of all that stuff. And when I say I couldn't give it away, I had a gimbal desk, and I had a incredible solid ash Davis custom made table, chairs. It cost me $1,500 just to have it recovered 15 years ago. It's very high end.
Yeah.
I could not give it away. I took it to Father Joe's, which is like a Salvation Army kind of place, only in San Diego. They wouldn't take it because people just don't buy that high end stuff. No. Could not give it away, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So when I got here, being a minimalist and just having all that monkey of being a consumer and having to have the best of everything, and then the responsibility once you own it, taking care of it, all that was just gone. I felt such a weight lifted off, and I don't miss it. I really don't miss it. And being a minimalist here has just become so easy and a natural way to live, and my life is fairly stress free now.
Yeah, it does. It really kind of frees you. You're not bound. You're not tied down to anything. And even though I'm getting married in a few weeks here, and we acquired possessions because we moved into a semi-unfurnished place, we really would have no issue selling our TV, selling our dining room table, selling our sofa, our appliances, and if we wanted to move to another island, it's not really that big of a deal. We haven't invested so much money. Not like the West, where you really dump a lot of money into your possessions, and there's no useless knickknacks. I had stupid collections. I had a Frank. There's a company called Franklin Mint. Do you remember this company?
Yeah.
And I was a big Sinatra fan, so I had all the Frank Sinatra plates, that sang different songs my way and whatever. And I was like, why am I collecting this stuff? I mean, for what for? And it was just nice to get rid of all that stuff. I've got one last box in the U.S. in my sister's garage that when I go back in next year, I'll even get rid of that.
I shipped five of those boxes from LBC here. And I could have done with 2. But when I got way down to the end, it was so hard to get rid of that last junk. that it was easier just to throw it all in boxes and decide when I got here. And I could have gone with 2 boxes and still have more than I really needed.
Yeah.
I do not miss it, and believe me, I was very, very, very materialistic. I was as much materialistic as anybody I've ever met. I wanted the Rolex watch. I wanted to drive the Rolls Royce. I wanted all that stuff.
It really does seem like it's a competition with neighbors and stuff. Like, oh, my lawn looks better. Oh, look, we just installed granite countertops, and we just put, it seems like it's never ending.
It never comes up here. People, it's just not a topic of conversation.
No, nobody cares if you have granite countertops or, boy. It was just some of the things we were doing for our house. Like, we wanted wrought iron railings on our stairs. We wanted hardwood floors, cherry wood. We wanted tiled backsplash, and it was
wanted just the Wolf appliances in the kitchen.
Yes, it was just never ending, and it didn't bring you any more happiness. Really,
nobody talks about it here.
No.
Did you see the waves today? How was that sunset? I mean, this is the kind of everyday conversation we have. It's not political.
Right. They don't care about it.